Hi everyone, it's Debbie with BookAndBuJo. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you've been here before. Join me today for July's TBRopoly. As always, we go through my June TBRopoly and see how I did, and that will decide if I get a punishment or a reward. So let's go ahead and start with roll number 1 from June, which was a punishment roll, because I totally missed a space in May. Just skipped right over it. So I decided to give myself a punishment roll just because. And for that one, it was to read a special edition book, and I got Mother of Learning, which I can then now put back into the jar because there's more than one book in that series. And that was Arc 2 by Damagoy Kermayak, and I did read this. It was really good. So cute. This whole series is so cute. I don't know why it took me so long to read this, and I cannot wait to get to the rest of the series that you can't quite see. They're right here. I've got 2 more books in there. Can't wait. And then I did get a reward in June, and I did pull that one, and that was I can do 1 reroll or repick 1 prompt. And I didn't intentionally use this, but I did accidentally use this. So I did actually use my reward this month, and I will show you where when we get to that one. Roll number 1, I landed on nonfiction, and I ended up reading The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery, and this was narrated by the author, and it was so good. I learned a lot of stuff. It was super cozy. It was uplifting. I mean, there was some sad stuff in there too, but I just loved it. I thought it was so good, and I gave that one 4.5 stars. Next was an odd card, and that was to randomize my TBR, and I put some books on my spinner wheel, and that was Camp by L.C. Rosen, and this was really good. Now, I do have to say, I feel like I've lived a sheltered life, and I have been going to camps since I was in, like, I don't know, 4th or 5th grade, and I worked at camps for over 20 years. And I don't know any camp that allows sex, especially between campers. So that was a little weird to me. But anyway, besides that, yeah, I think it just lived a little sheltered life and didn't see any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we never left. Yeah, you don't leave campers alone on their own at all. Even the high schoolers, we didn't allow that. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, besides that, this was a beautiful book. Like the love and acceptance and the realizations that come through all of the different lives that are touched in this camp. So yeah, through all the different campers, they all bring their own experiences and their own wants and needs and hopes and fears, and also their ingrained identity issues maybe from society or from their parents. And I love how that was all touched upon in this book. It was beautiful. Loved it. LGBTQIA plus rep all over the place. It was great. Did give that one 4 stars. Next, I got an even card, and that was to read an ebook. And for that one, I read Heavy Lies the Crown by Ben Galley, the 2nd book in the Skulusan Chronicles, and I gave this one 5 stars as well. All 3 books in the series, 5 stars. So spoiler, I did also read To Kill a God, which is the final book in the Skulusan Chronicles. So I read all 3 of them, which means Herkied. I got my challenge done. Yay! So excited for that. But anyway, I did read this one, and it was so good. Love the whole series. Now, I would recommend not jumping straight into this series. You really need to read the Emaneska series first to get the most out of it. Like, I think if you just jump into this, it's fine. Like, you'll enjoy it, but I don't think the enjoyment level will be as high as if you read the Emaneska series, because most of the characters are also in or at least a lot of the characters are also in the Emaneska series, which is a 4-book series with a couple of novellas in there. And I think with all of that, the enjoyment level of this book is even higher because you already know and love the characters. So good. Next, I landed on the challenge space, and that was to move ahead 5 spaces. So I did that, and I landed on TBRopoly, and I got Nine-Tailed, and that is by J.C. Lee, and it's the first book in the Four Realms series. And she is a fox shifter, and this is around Korean folklore, and I actually really enjoyed this one. I had no expectations going into this one, kind of more thinking like this is kind of going to be okay, but I thought it was really interesting. I enjoyed it, and if I had the second book, I would definitely continue with the series. If I can find it, I will definitely continue because it was very interesting, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. Next, I landed on 26 in 2026, and that was to read Spellmaker by Charlie N. Holmberg, and this is the second book in the Spellbreaker duology, and I also thoroughly enjoyed this one, 4.5 stars, and I love that you're introduced to to some new characters, but not a whole lot. You mostly follow the characters from the first book, and they continue their lives here in the second book, and I thought it was done really well. Thoroughly enjoyed the entire duology. Next, I landed on special edition again, and I got Sky of Fire, and I was like, I already finished that. So I did already read that book, and I finished that one in May. So then I drew another one, and that was the Rift War Saga, which also means this one can go back into the jar because there's more books in that series. And I started with the first book in the series, which is Magician, and I am just about halfway through, and I am loving this. Oh my gosh. I started this book and I felt like I just had a big breath of fresh air come through my life. I have been enjoying so much all of the different random reads that I've been doing in the last month and a half, like all the horror and sci-fi and like all these different genres, contemporary and romance and all those that I don't typically read, that when I got back to this one, I was like, oh, classic fantasy. It just felt like when you come home from vacation, you're like, oh, it's my own pillow, my own bed, and it just feels so nice, and it's just comforting. Like you had so much fun on vacation. It was great. You loved it, but now you're back home. And so I am thoroughly enjoying this book so far. Loving it. Now, would I have loved it as much if I hadn't read a whole bunch of other stuff? Yeah, probably. But it may not have evoked quite those same feelings of, oh, what a breath of fresh air. So nice to be back with my normal classic fantasy, which I love. Loving this. So far, is that maybe a 5-star? I don't know. We'll see what the second half brings. I will definitely have this one finished. I also have the audiobook, so I will definitely have this one finished before the end of the month. I still have a little over a week. I'm filming this a little bit early because Dice Roll Decides My Day decided that I needed to film for an hour. This was the only thing I had to film at the time, so it's a little early. So I will have this done within the next probably 2, maybe 3 days at the most, because it is kind of a big book, but I am loving it. So good. This is definitely going to be a 4.5, maybe a 5. We'll see what the end brings. Next up, I got another even card, and that was to read my most anticipated read. And for this one, I chose Chlorine by Jade Song. And I've heard about this one quite a bit, and it was talked about a lot for like Horror Bingo Readathon, and it's been suggested quite a bit. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to read that one. I actually gave this one 3 3/4 stars, so 3.75, and kind of rounded up to a 4 because I did like it a little more than I didn't. So not quite a 3.5, but not quite a 4, but rounded up to 4. That I feel like there was parts of it that were a little slow, and other parts that I feel kind of skipped over just a little bit to make it more convenient and not to add more page count to the book. Maybe I guess I wanted maybe a little more interaction or a little more something, but I did enjoy it and I would recommend it. And then I landed on Amazon Borrows, so Prime Reading Borrows, and I rolled a 7, and that was not quite by the book, and this is by Julie Hatcher, and I have not started this one yet. But it's only 317 pages, so I can have this one read in a couple days, and that'll be super easy. So when I'm finished with Magician, I will pick this one up, and I should have this one done by the end of the week. And of course, I only need to read the first 6 books. So once I finish Magician, I will have won my TBRopoly. But I also kind of added the extra, so it was 14 instead of 6 books. So if I don't finish all of these last 8, then that's okay. But I have finished most of them. So let's go with the next one, which was an odd card. And that was to read a small book under 300 pages, super easy. And I read Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey, and I did enjoy this one. I gave this one 4 stars. It was very interesting and could definitely tell it was based in Arizona and Utah a little bit. And that was kind of my old stomping grounds growing up. We were right on the border of Utah and Arizona. And so it was kind of fun to kind of picture the areas in my mind of where they started and where they were going. And yeah, this one is a Western romance and it was super cute. Also, I feel the categorization for the genre is kind of very ambiguous. I feel it's kind of marketed as fantasy, dystopian, sci-fi, romance, Western. So I would say it's kind of a Western romance. But I feel like, but it's definitely dystopian. So it's a Western dystopian romance. And then I got another odd card, and that was to read a book with a raven or a snake on the cover. And for this one, I read The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. And I did enjoy this one. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I was really hoping it was going to be a 5-star, but just something was holding me back from giving it that 5-star. Yeah. I don't know if it was just a little bit of enjoyment with it. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I didn't like love it. So yeah, 4.5 stars, very good, finished it. And then I got another odd card, and that was to read my most recent purchase. And that particular day, a pre-order came in. So I read Demon's Ruin by Bengali and David Estes, and this is the last book in the Bloodwood saga. And so I finished 2 series this month. Yes, so nice. I love that. Actually 3, because Spellbreaker as well. So Spellbreaker was a duology, and then the Skalusan Chronicles, which was a trilogy, and the Bloodwood saga, which was also a trilogy. So good. I gave this one 4.5 stars. The whole series was a 4-star series, 4 to 4.5. So good. Very interesting. But again, 3rd book in a series, so I don't want to say too much about it, but I enjoyed it. Next up was an odd card, and that was to read a book with sprayed edges. And for that one, I did read The Grace of Kings, the first book in the Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. And I did enjoy this one. I gave this one 4 stars. Not super sold on the series yet. Like I like it, but I don't love it. But I can see where it's going, and I have a feeling the next 3 books in the series will bring me to really love it. I feel like this one, it took me about halfway through the book before I really kind of latched on to any character that I wanted to know more about. This is much more setup and a lot of politics involved, which is totally fine. I do enjoy that, but it was a little more history book feeling than rambling fantasy, I guess. So I do enjoy it. I will be going on with the 2nd book in the series because of course I have all of them. So I will be continuing with the series, but I didn't love this one as much as I thought I would, but I did enjoy it. Next up, I landed on a readathon prompts, and that was Herkiad, and I only had 2 prompts left, and I already had the prompts for my other books slotted into TBRopoly. So this one, I did the new release prompt for Herkiad and read a book that was released in June, and that is The Quitters Club by Jessica Strasser. I love this one. It was really good. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This is about 4 friends who were, best friends and roomies in college, and they still kind of keep in touch mostly, but they decided to reconnect, and they all got together for like a little weekend getaway to hang out with each other and chat. And during that time, they realized, you know what? I think we need to quit some things that we don't enjoy or are not serving us anymore. So it's more of a release and let go than just being like, I'm a quitter kind of thing. So it's things they needed to quit, to let go of to get out of their lives. And then we follow the progress of all of these things throughout the rest of the book. And I thought it was so interesting, and I loved the bonding, how in depth the characters got with themselves, like reflecting and just trying to pinpoint why they were feeling certain ways about certain things and why they wanted to get rid of them, and what does that then mean for the future. Like, I have based my whole life on this thing and I don't want it anymore. What am I going to do now? Like, what is that going to look like? So very cool. There's a few of the little kind of reveals or twists that you totally guess early on, which is fine. Like, you're kind of meant to a little bit, but love this one. 4.5 stars. Would definitely recommend. And then lastly, I landed on Amazon Borrows again. So I got out my 10-sided die, rolled a 3, and I got The Bordeaux Book Club by Jillian Harvey. And I have not read this one yet either. But again, this one's 314. That's kind of funny. The other book is 317 pages. This one's 314 pages. So they're only 3 pages apart in length. So I should be able to get this one done super easy in a couple of days. So I will definitely have completed my TBR by the end of the month. I forgot to mention when the reward came in. So when I drew out of my TBR jar, I ended up with a couple of them. I was like, I don't really want any of these. And I kind of put it back and drew again. That was my one. That's when I used my reward, which was repicking one prompt. And so I repicked or redrew for that one. All right, now let's go ahead and draw my reward. Did I complete my TBR from June or did I not? I did, so I get a reward, and my reward is to remove 1 roll of choice. All right, for my reward, it is to remove 1 roll of your choice. So we'll see if I end up using this or if I save it for next month. I may wait until the end of the month, and if there's one I don't complete, I might use this one just to kind of cheat a little win out of it. We'll see. If not, I may hold it till the next month, but let's see if I use it or not. Let's see how many rolls I will be doing for July. I have my D8 here, so let's see how many rolls I will be doing for July. 8. Perfect. All right, I got 8 rolls. That's good. I like it. I'll take 8 rolls. So let's go ahead and just go right on into roll number 1. This is where I ended in June, so that's where I will start for the July game. And let's go ahead and do our first roll. Roll 1 of 8. Doubles. We'll start with doubles. There we go. 2, 1, 2. And that is even number, even card. Read a memoir. Okay. Not something I was planning for July, but you know, there's some good ones out there. And of course, roll number 1 would be a double. So 9 rolls total. I'm good with that. That'll be nice. Okay, for roll number 1, I got an even card, and that was to read a memoir. What I really want to read is 100 Rules of Living to 100 by Dick Van Dyke. But I heard that the audiobook for that is amazing because Dick Van Dyke narrates it himself, but my library only has the physical book. So I think I'm going to wait on that one until I can find the audiobook because that just sounds amazing. So thank you so much for commenting and letting me know about that audiobook. That is amazing. So instead, I'm going to go with one that I've had on my list for a while. I think it was on my 24 in 2024 or my 25 in 2025. One of those lists. And I'm going to read Becoming by Michelle Obama. All right, roll 2 of now 9. So that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Odd card. Dragon or Fire on the cover. I feel like I recently had this one. I wonder if I have that one in there twice. Possibly. Roll number 2 is an odd card, and that is to read a book with a dragon or fire on the cover. And I decided to go with a book that has both. And that is Heartsworn by David Estes. And this is the second book in the Forsworn Oath series. And I love the first book. all of his fantasy series. They're all 5 books long, and they are all amazing. Both the other fantasy series I've read from him have been 5-star series, so I am really looking forward to getting back into this one. And this is also one that has been on my want to read for a long time. I'm pretty sure it's on my 26 and 2026 list. It's on my 13 chunky reads list, and yeah, so Hartshorn by David Estes. So excited for this one. All right, roll 3 of 9. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. D20 space. It's kind of funny, the last roll was a 7 as well. All right, I have my D20 list here. So let's go ahead and roll and see what we're gonna get. 6. 6 is Getting Wild. Not sure what that is. For my next roll, I landed on the D20 space. It's been a little while since I've landed on that one. And I rolled a 6. And that was actually Getting Wild, and it's by Jen Stark, and it's the second book in the Immortal Vegas series. I'm like, why is the second book on here? I don't think I've read the first one. And I looked it up. I don't even own the second book, so I'm not sure why I have that on there. Because pretty much most of the books in my TBR jar are books that I own, and I couldn't find it anyplace else, like no audiobooks, nothing like that. So I'm like, why do I have this on there? But then I looked it up, and I do have book 1 in the series, which is Wild Magic. And so I will be reading this one instead, because I think that'll work better. All right, roll 4 of 9. 7, again, interesting. I wonder how many configurations of 7 I can get in the same game. So far, that's 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Odd card. A Kickstarter book. Perfect. Well, number 4 was another odd card, and that was to read a Kickstarter book. And for that one, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to choose. Maybe I'll leave it up to you guys. So I have 2 options. The first option, so one of them I don't have yet, but I have access to the audiobook on Libby from my library. And the other one I have in my hands right here. But the other one, it's still a few months out before they even start shipping it. So I don't have that particular copy, but I do have access to the audiobook and the physical book from my library to be able to read it. But they're both Kickstarter books. So I'll let you decide down in the comments below which one you want me to read. The first one is the 3rd book in the Memoirs of Lady Trent series by Marie Brennan, and that is The Voyage of the Basilisk. So that's option number 1. So if you want that one, either say option 1, or you could say Voyage of the Basilisk in the comments. Option number 2 is The House Witch, book 3, and this is by Delham Hawk, and this one is the omnibus of all of them. And it's even signed, which is cool. It's got these beautiful sprayed edges. And so it's volumes 1 through 3. I've already read volumes 1 and 2, and volume 3 starts here. So The House Witch, volume 3. So it's not super long. I've already read those, so it would be those ones. So if you want me to read The House Witch, then you can either leave a little cat emoji or just say The House Witch. So The Voyage of the Basilisk or The House Witch, volume 3. Which one do you want me to read? Let me know. Okay, roll 5 of 9. 8. We broke the 7 streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we landed on a start. And that is a challenge card. Read a book from your 12 classics list. Ooh, that's a good one. I do need to get to those because I have not read very many of them yet. So here are the classics I still need to read. So I need to pick one of these. I'm trying to decide. Yeah, we'll see which one I end up going with. I have a couple of them on, at least 3 of them on my Herkiad 3.0 possible TBR. Next up, I got a challenge card, and that is to read a book from your 12 classics list. So it's actually, this year it's 13 classics to read in 2026. And so for this one, I decided to go with a couple things. So first, it's my sister's favorite book. Second, it works for her kid 3.0, so as long as I start it after July 7th. And third, it's on my 13 classics to read in 2026 list, and that is Awakenings by Kate Chopin. And don't really know much else about this except that my sister loves it and I have it, so I might as well read it. Okay, roll 6 of 9. Oh, that was a 7 again. That was a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. TBR jar. That one's always a fun one to pull out. And I actually land on it more than I realized, or more than I ever thought I would. Okay, let's see. Try not to get too many of them. This one. Oh, there's 2 of them in there. Oh, Darker Shade of Magic I've already read, so there we go. Organized Simplicity, the Clutter-Free Approach to Intentional Living. So I guess I'm reading another nonfiction this month, besides the memoir. Although I do have the Remove a Role of Choice, so I could take one of those out. Next, I got TBR jar, and that came out with, it's really long, so let's see. Organized Simplicity, the Clutter-Free Approach to Intentional Living. And that is by Tish Oxenreider, and it's a nonfiction. Don't really know much else about it. All right, roll 7 of 9. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Family challenge. Perfect. Okay, here is my family reading challenge books. It's pretty much any of the books on my shelf that I have not read yet. I could put some of these on a spinner wheel. But I was thinking we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 shelves. Let's go ahead and roll my D8 and figure out which shelf I'm going to end up reading from. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So something from here. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How about I do the D12 and the D4, and we'll see what book comes up. So 4 and 1, so that's book 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Sophocles. Next, I landed on the family challenge space, and as you saw, I rolled for what shelf from my journal it was going to be on, and then from there what book on that shelf I was going to read, and it ended up being Sophocles 1. These ones are all certain plays, and they're 3 tragedies. It is translated and with an introduction by David Green, and I'm interested to see what the other stories are. So we have Oedipus the King, Oedipus at Colonus, and Antigone. And I'm pretty sure I've already read 2 of the books out of here. So we'll see. I may luck out and just need to read one of them. But if not, but I will still kind of skim through to make sure it was one of the ones that I have read. Because I'm pretty sure I've read Oedipus the King. But I have not read Oedipus at Colonus. And I'm pretty sure I've also read Antigone. But we'll see. And I'm sure my library has the audiobooks for these as well. If not, LibriVox may have them on YouTube. So LibriVox is all volunteers, and they take public domain books and then they read them to you, which is super fun. So I'll have to look and see if they have this one as well. And yeah, so Sophocles 1. So 2 nonfictions and a really old classic that are plays. I may be using that reward after all. We'll see. I'm going to keep them on my TBR for now, and I think I'll decide at the end of the month if I want to use it or not. All right, this is stacking up to be an interesting TBR. All right, roll 8 of 9. I have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. D20 again. Interesting. Look at TBRopoly trying to make sure I get my yearly goals done. Nice. Okay, D20 back out. That is a 14, and I have not read that one yet. Oh, this one's on my Herkiad list too for 3.0. Cyber Hunter Origins. Roll number 8, I landed on D20 again, and for this one, I rolled a 14, and I got Cyber Hunter Origins by D.B. Gooden, and it does say it's the complete series. So when I looked this up on Goodreads, it has 1 review, and it is a 2-star review. So we'll see what I think. At the very least, it may just be cheesy. I don't know. We'll see. But I did put this on my Herkiad 3.0 as well, so it might be kind of fun. And lastly, roll 9 of 9. 7. Another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Odd card. And that is a priority read. Perfect. And then lastly, roll number 9 of 9 was another odd card, and that was to read a priority read. And I was like, I have so many. So many that I want to get to right now. I was really struggling with what book I wanted to choose for this, but I think it's one I've wanted to read. I actually have checked it out from the library twice and have not read it yet because it's the physical book and it's over 800 pages. And I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I did get access to the audiobook, and I'm so excited because I read the first 2 books in the series as an audiobook, and this would be the 3rd and final book in the trilogy, and that is Empire of the Dawn by J. Kristoff. I really liked the first 2 books in the series, and I am interested to see where this is going to end, like how it's going to end up, what path it's going to take to finish off the series. And that's all I got for my TBRopoly. But again, you know, that's not all I'm going to read. So let's go ahead and move on to book clubs. All right, we'll start with the Boundless Book Club. The book club picks for July are Disability Visibility, and this is by Alice Wong. I don't think my library has either of these books, but I'm going to try and find them. And then that one's the nonfiction book. And then the fiction book is Hunchback by Sao Ichigawa. And I really do want to read both of these, but I need to see if I can find them first. Oh, and the Boundless Book Club is with This Story Ain't Over. For the Catch-Up Book Club with Becca and the Books, don't know yet. We just finished the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne, and now we're on to something new. But I don't know what that's going to be yet. I'm not sure. I know she said, but I didn't go back and listen to the video to find out what she said for sure. But we may be taking July off and come back in August. But at some point, because I think the live show is in July, so I think the announcement will be in July, and then we'll start up again in August. I think, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what's happening. If not, then I will let you know. For In Other Words with Amanda from the Reading and Writing Life, we are reading The Teller of Small Fortunes, and that is by Julie Leong. And then for Game of Tomes with Carolyn Marie Reeds and Emmy, we are reading the Anne of Green Gables series by Lucy Maud Montgomery. And of course, I've already finished that one in April? I think it was April or May. I already finished it. And then for the Hardcore Literature Book Club with Benjamin McAvoy, the books for the summer, I've already read some of them, but we still have Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce, which I did DNF last year. I may pick back up and read a little bit more, and maybe that's just something I pick up and read a little bit here and there and here and there. We'll see. And then we're also going to be picking up Marcel Proust's Swan's Way and Within a Budding Grove. So those will be interesting. And that's like over 1,000 pages between the two of them. So I think both of those, all 3 of those books are kind of like way over my head, but I'll give them a try. We'll see. And then also the short works of Clarice Lispector. Don't know anything about that one either, but maybe read a little Proust, a little short story, a little Proust, a little short story, a little Finnegan's Wake. We'll see if I get to those or not. And then for the Goobers Who Read book club, we are reading Rook and Rebel by Kate Crew. My library does not have this, nor do they have either of the other choices that were for this month. So we'll see if I find it or not. May or may not read that one. And then we have the Well-Read book club with Carolyn Marie Reads. And for this one, the vote is still going. But right now, Lonesome Dove is winning by Larry McMurtry. I have already read this one. Loved it. Gave it 5 stars. But I also have Comanche Moon, which is kind of the continuation of this one. So I may read this one instead if that comes up. We'll see how much time I have. The second place option right now is My Antonia by Willa Cather. And I know that one is a very well-loved book. A lot of people like it. It's on a lot of the top 100 classics you have to read before you die kind of book lists out there. So I may end up picking that one up instead. We'll see. And then I have no read-alongs, so let's go ahead and move into the year-long readathons. Buzzwordathon with Kayla from Books and Lala. The title prompt is Occupation. Well, I have a few options here. So I could go with Fortune Teller and read The Teller of Lost Fortunes by Julie Leong. We've got Cyber Hunter Origins. I'm pretty sure this is an occupation. They're cyber hunters. So they're hunting for, I don't know, like cyborgs and things like that. I don't know. This could possibly work, but I may be totally off base too, because I don't know, haven't read it. But that could be an option. And then depending on what book all of you choose for my Kickstarter book, I could read The House Witch 3, because House Witch is an occupation. I mean, House Witch is the type of witch that our main character is, but in his case, he uses it as an occupation. So that's an option. And then we go into TBR Knockout with Melanie from Completely Melanie. And the first one is a book set in a country other than your own. And well, I actually have quite a few options, but I was thinking maybe Sophocles, because this is definitely set more in Greek or Roman times. So Greece or Italy, which is nowhere near where I am. So Sophocles. And it gives me more incentive to pick it up and read it. And the second prompt involves a road trip. And I'm like, ooh, what do I have that could work for that? Possibly Empire of the Dawn, maybe? I'm sure somewhere in the book somebody's going to be traveling. So maybe, I mean, it's not the typical road trip, but I mean, it's traveling. Another option could be Voyage of the Basilisk, because you know they're going to be traveling. Again, depending on which book you guys choose. And other than that, you know what? The Teller of Small Fortunes. Because she's in a wagon, and I'm pretty sure they're traveling from one place to another. Like one town to another town to another town. So that could be considered a road trip. That works. Next up is You're in Aldia for Luminara. She's going from 6A to 7A and needs to explore the ruins, and that is to read a book published before you were born. Well, that's pretty easy. I actually have a couple of them on here. But I think I'm going to go with Awakenings by Kate Chopin. And this one was, let's see what this edition is. This edition is 2009. What was the original? Yeah, so this edition is 2009. I'm not sure when the actual book was published, but the author lived from 1815 to 1904. So this was definitely published by 1904. So, published before I was born. I will double check and put up on the screen exactly when this one was originally published and make sure that that works. If not, Sophocles, definitely. For Castian, he is moving from 6D to 7D, and he needs to write notes. So read a 5-star prediction and then write a review and share it online. So you can share it on Goodreads, on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you want. And for this one, I am going to choose Empire of the Dawn by J. Kristoff. Although I could choose Heartsworn as well by David Estes. Second book in the Forsworn Oath series, because I already know this one's going to be 5-star. The first book was, and all of his fantasies have been so far. Okay, you know I'm going to be using all these same books over and over again. So next one, Year of Goober with the Goobers Who Read Book Club. And the first one is Apple Pie, a classic or a retelling. And I was like, this one is a classic, and I'm sure it's been retold by a lot of people, but Sophocles. And then the next one is Chocolatey Claire, Darker Themes. Well, I can use Heartsworn by David Estes. I can use Empire of the Dawn by J. Kristoff. Either of those will definitely work. And then we have Lost in the Library. Let's go to the rolls. Lost in the Library. Let's see. I finished Renewal. I did color that one in. And then I had Book on the Cover. That's here. Oh no, here's this Renewal. So it's this one I finished. And I finished Book on the Cover. And then Immigrant Refugee Main Character. Where was that? Oh, that was there, and I colored that one in already. All right, so those are all done. That was actually the first one I completed, I think. So those are all done. Now I need to figure out my roles for July. I do need to try and get down to this young adult fiction, because that's the only main space I haven't been to yet. So I do need to try and get there. And then if I hit any of the other ones, then that's awesome too. So 1, 2, 3 would be great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I think that's the only options right now. So hopefully a 3 or a 6. Let's see. Roll 1. Oh, look at that. A 6. Perfect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Young adult fiction. So I will make a space around here so I know I landed on it. And then I color part of it in when it's complete. So like I did with these. All right, roll number 2. I don't know if I really care which direction I go. We'll just see what's there. Hey, roll number 2 is a 2. So I can do TBR or Indigenous author. That might be a good one. Spell read with the title or author. That one would be fun. Or new or old. All 3 of those options sound really good. So Indigenous, new or old, spell read. I think I'm going to go with the spell read, because I think I have a book that's going to be on my, like the book club books kind of thing that will fit for that. So I'm going to go with a spell read with the title and or author. Perfect. 1, 2. All right, last roll. A 1. Well, I guess I'm going to go with Black author. I mean, I could go with middle grade also, but I think I'm going to go with Black author. So 1. Let's color that one in. Well, that makes it easy. It's these 3 right here. So the first prompt was YA fiction. So I'm going to read Wild Magic by Jen Stark, the first book in the Immortal Vegas series. My second role was to spell read with the title and the author's name, and that's Heartsworn by David Estes. So we've got the R-E-A and then the D from his first name. And then role 3 was to read a book by a Black author, and for that one I'll be reading Becoming by Michelle Obama. And then for TBR Trek, don't know yet. We haven't had the live show. That one is actually happening in a couple of days. And now for the yearly challenges with Bridge 4. The first one is A Journey Through the Stars. And this one I was a little confused. I think there's 4 prompts, but I think I found 5 that fit under the Rift section. So I wrote down all 5. I'll do all 5 and we'll see if they all count or if it's just 4 of them. Not sure. I didn't want to spend a ton of time trying to figure out which ones were the actual ones, so I'm just going to do all of them. I think that's the easier way to go. The first one is to read a mystery or thriller, and I'm going to go with Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry, and this is the second book in this series, and I am excited to see what happens next. Next prompt is a book over 700 pages. Pretty easy. I have quite a few of those on my shelves. And I already have a couple of them on my TBR. And for this one, I can either go with Empire of the Dawn by Jay Kristoff or Heartsworn by David Estes. So I will read one of those two. The next prompt is a fast-paced adventure or a book that features pirates. And I was looking up, and pretty much most of the books that I have on my TBR are either slow or medium paced, or if they're fast paced, it's not really an adventure. So I'm like, what am I going to read? But then I found one of the book club books will work, and that's Rook and Rebel by Kate Crew, but I don't have access to that one. My library doesn't have it, and it doesn't sound like a book that I want to own. So I'm like, if I can get that one, then I will read that. If not, I do have a book on my shelves by Michael Crichton, and that is Pirate Latitudes. And this is one that I have been wanting to read. It looks very interesting, and I do like Michael Crichton, so this is probably what I'll end up reading for that. Because, I mean, Pirate Latitudes, so there better be pirates in here. The next prompt is something broken on the cover, and I was like, I don't know if I have anything, but I did find one, and that is Wild Magic by Jen Stark. So all of this is broken off and it's kind of floating away. I'm assuming I think that's a card, because the series is Immortal Vegas, so I'm assuming it's vampires in Vegas probably. I don't really know much about it, but yeah, it definitely looks like the card is shattering, so something broken. And then lastly, set in space or has stars or space on the cover or in the title. This is another one that I was like, I don't really have anything. Yeah, because even the Cyber Hunter Origins book that I have, which is actually 3 books. It's the whole trilogy all in one. But there's cyborgs, but it's not set in space, and there's no stars on any of the covers. And yeah, so I just went with a book I've been putting off for too long, and that is Lightbringer by Pierce Brown, the 6th book in the Red Rising series. So excited for this one. And that one is definitely set in space. And then we move on to Foreplay. And this one has 5 prompts for July, and it's all about Independence Day, which makes sense since this is the 250th anniversary of the United States. Very exciting. And the first prompt is non-human sentient beings or a new to you author. And I'm going to say both of these will fit. And that is Cyber Hunter Origins by D.B. Gooden. And they're cyborgs and they're sentient. And I've never read anything by D.B. Gooden before, so it is a new to me author. The next prompt is a book set during any holiday. And it actually took me a little while because none of the books that are on my TBR have a holiday that I know of. I mean, there could be some, I just don't know what they are. So I am going with a backup book so it'll be kind of like the loser's book from one of my book clubs, and that will be My Antonia by Willa Cather. The next prompt is a book that features a race against time or has a 3rd act breakup. And I'm going to read Going the Distance by Beth Riekels, and this is the 2nd book in the Kissing Booth series because it was just adorable, and they're really super quick and easy reads. And I just finished watching the 3rd movie in the series, so. Now my library doesn't have the 3rd book, but I'm hoping. And I think they may have a couple of the novellas. Next up, a book set on Earth as we know it, And I'm going to take a little bit of a easy way out and go with my nonfiction book and read Becoming by Michelle Obama. Lastly, a book featuring a well-known historical event or an alternate history. And I am going to be reading another book that has been on my list for a long time to read, even though it's not anywhere else on anything else I'm going to be reading. But that's okay. And that is Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. Lastly, and the one that's always the hardest, and that is Starbridge. Now this would be an interesting one for Herkied 4.0 maybe, is to do a Starbridge style prompt. Q did put like Shiratori and the characters to authors, so there are some chaining ones in there, but these ones, the Bridge 4 ones, are really hard. So the first one is a body part mentioned in the title. And I was like, oh, do I have anything? And I was like, oh yeah, Heartsworn by David Estes. So heart. And then you have to chain that to the next one. So prompt 2 is the same number of syllables as book 1. I was like, oh, Heartsworn, it's just 2. And I was looking at all the other books I have in my TBR, and I'm like, mostly 3 and more. And then I went to book club books and went, ooh, Hunchback. Perfect. Ooh, I'm back. That would work for the first prompt too. But Hunchback by Sao Ichigawa, but my library doesn't have that one either. So yeah, I have that in there for now. We'll see if I can find it. Hopefully. It looks interesting. And I don't have any other 2-word titles, so I would have to find another book for this if this one doesn't work. So we'll see how it goes. And then the third one is a book published in the same month as book 2. And I was like, oh, so this, everything after this is going to completely change if I can't get Hunchback, which was published in March. And I did find one, and that is The Voyage of the Basilisk by Marie Brennan, was also published in March. Yay! Everything else was like November, September. I mean, even Heartsworn was October, so I couldn't even like swap those two. I didn't find anything else in October either. Lots in September and a couple in January. So yeah, so far Heartsworn to Hunchback to The Voyage of the Basilisk. Prompt 4, a look-alike cover to book 3. So book 3 is basically a plain background with an animal on the front. Like the animal, I think there's 2 animals, but with an animal on the front. And Lightbringer by Pierce Brown is a plain solid color with an animal as the focal point. So hopefully that works. So Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. And then lastly, the letters from a 3+ word in book 4. Luckily, there's only 1 word, and luckily it's Lightbringer. There's more than 3 letters in that one. Yeah, so letters from a 3+ word in book 4 is in the author name of book 5. And it's like, oh yes, I found one, and that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. And there's an I, an H, an E, and an L. So there's actually 4 letters from that word, from Lightbringer, in the author's name. Yay, I did it. Very excited about that. Okay, I just did a little research and I did find something to replace Hunchback. So for Starbridge, prompt 1 is a book with a body part mentioned in the title, and that would be Heartsworn by David Estes. And the second one is book 2 has the same number of syllables as book 1, so that was Heartsworn. And I found Advent, and that is by Seth Ring. And this was published in March, and that means the next prompt published in the same month as book 2, and that would still be The Voyage of the Basilisk by Marie Brennan for a March published book. So perfect. I was able to switch Hunchback and put Advent in instead, and it keeps all the rest of the prompts the same. Perfect. Okay, so I think that's it for the Bridge 4 challenges. So that is everything that I hope to read and plan to read for July. Don't forget to vote down below whether you want me to read The Voyage of the Basilisk by Marie Brennan, or if you want me to read The House Witch by Dellamhawk for the Kickstarter prompt. So again, a cat or the House Witch for that one, or the number 1 or The Voyage of the Basilisk in the comments down below to let me know. And please like, comment, and subscribe if you want, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other bookish content. And until next time, keep reading. Bye!